Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Do a nice long intro there. Just make sure we get it all on tape. Yay! Way to go, Kevin. So here we are. It is Tuesday, 13th of October, just about halfway through this month, eh? A couple weeks till the big U.S. election. Get that event out of the way. As well, too, we've got our third Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto event coming up here in mid-November. So hopefully we get that out of the way and get beyond that. Maybe we can start getting back to living our lives a little bit. Tuesday, of course, is actually, we've kind of broke it up because we do have a fun stock pickers meeting every Tuesday nights at TRI. So Kevin, my co-host here, he comes on the call and talks with the community on Tuesdays, but we limited him to talk about crypto today because we're going to do the stock club meeting tonight, and we'll have him come on and talk a little bit of stock tomorrow with the community. Also give Brian his voice a little bit of a break. So thank you very much for the assistance today there, Kevin. One thing I did notice that kind of concerns me a little bit is we've rallied up very far, very fast, very quickly. So we've come back from the holiday weekend. Usually markets, when they bid them up into a holiday weekend, usually there's a bit of a trap being laid, especially with crypto 24/7. They can trade it up into levels through that holiday event. And then, of course, when the adults come back, from the break, we start to see prices sort of get back to more normal levels, if you will. So I wonder, there was quite a bit of euphoria bid into the market there, especially yesterday. It was stocks were open, but banks were closed. A number of different markets and countries were closed. For example, Canada was closed yesterday for our Canadian Thanksgiving. So kind of a fluffy market. And actually, I think we saw that pretty well defined in the Bitcoin, where we had what I would consider fairly straightforward, fairly simple, high octane momentum trades that set up into the weekend. And then literally through the holiday event window, they hit those price objectives. Very manufactured trade, I might even argue. Classic 2-to-1, strong momentum signals. To me, this feels like it was like totally like pre-programmed. So rallies up, hits the objective, and then just stops on a dime. And here we are. Adults come back to work. What's happening here? Well, they bid the price up a little bit, and now we just got to sort of cool our jets and wait for the next consolidation signal. Certain degree, I think I see that right across the market here. U.S. dollar index, of course, enjoying a precipitous rally here today. Kind of also what we were talking about was this maybe a little bit of a trap through the holiday there. Sort of back to quote unquote more normal. Also, too, if I understand correctly, politicians down in the United States is about the only country that hasn't passed an additional stimulus bill. The local population in the U.S., man, the poor are just getting destroyed here. And it's more of that sort of K economy, K-shaped. Literally, I think the United States of America is turning into a class society. There are very different classes there. You're either part of one or you're part of the other. So interesting on everything being normal. If we saw US dollar rally quite a bit stronger there, that's a risk off bet. We do see stocks hit a Feigenbaum level there. They're sort of calming down a little bit. I still think we got this inverted head and shoulders, which takes us higher. So far, this has turned into nothing more than just an inside bar day. But I have noticed, like our little small caps, I was mentioning how kind of like that breadth indicator message, the whole market just jumped up violently. And now we're sort of like, okay, do we really want to be up here? And the US dollar index is kind of like, you sure you're really a risk on market? Like I said, politicians down in the States, now they're talking about not doing another stimulus package. They're more concerned about getting politically motivated justices appointed to federal courts versus helping out the poor. Fuck the poor. Poor are idiots. Get a job, slacker. Just kidding. So I guess the way I'm looking at it here is there is a bit of softness, especially anything that's sort of COVID related. One of the major pharma manufacturers came out and said that they're putting their vaccine trials on hold because some of their patients ended up dying. Imagine that. So anything that sort of like was catching a bid, maybe the COVID thing is done. Obviously, they're all coming back down to earth. So like the cruise stocks and stuff like that, they're all like, bleh. If anything, this probably also favors the mega F names. If we have more lockdown, more coronavirus, more sickness, more, back to this lockdown kind of world that favors the Microsofts, the Amazons, the Googles, the Facebooks of the world. I'm fascinated to watch the crude oil here because stocks had a big update yesterday, but crude oil had a big down day yesterday. Something was disconnected there. Stocks having a bit of a pause, crude trying to rally back smartly. Now, if this is a risk-off kind of environment, we shouldn't have seen this rally in crude. So I have a funny feeling something odd happened there in the crude oil market yesterday. Don't know what the specific reason was. And then also, too, we're getting an odd message out of gold here. Again, kind of like if this is a risk-off bet out of the US dollar index, stocks and bonds are actually behaving correctly. Oil and gold are behaving the exact opposite of the way that they should behave in this environment. But point that we just made here in today's daily brief, we've been watching whether gold would actually bottom out here and get ready for another leg higher. And now we could potentially have one low, two lows, maybe three lows. Let's watch how this acts. But we do potentially have a nice little empire coming in here. And if that empire signal fires a break of this low tomorrow, then that could spell quite a bit further downside movement on the gold market. So nothing to do here right now for us. As I had sort of said there a minute ago, the risk off bet, you can see it in the junior market. They're pretty soft here today, and the mega Fs are getting the money poured at them. So that sort of corresponds with that risk off kind of thought. The only problem I have here is, gee whiz, this was way too far too fast. And what it scares me, because what it means is we could probably have the small caps take a bit of a punch in the nose here just to fill in this gap here. Probably also, too, great commentary on the Bitcoin there over the weekend. As I had said earlier, I think manufactured trades were created to take us up into higher time frame acceptable trade locations. And now we're starting, if I'm not mistaken, yep, you can see we've actually got a confirmed divergence now here in price momentum. As well, we're starting to get M's in RSI. And, we talk about what happens if you get a second M through RSI through the 50 line. Right there, that's 52, 53 on the RSI. So you can see, that there's trouble. There's writing on the walls here. Willie actually did officially get stupidly overbought. So anybody who came up and bought through here, you are officially stupid. Way to go. Let's try and not be stupid again in the future. The simple rule with Willie is if you want to be a bull, that's perfectly fine. But when Willie is stupid like this, remember, I built this when I was a broker, and 9 times out of 10, when Willie got stupid like this, my phone would be ringing off the hook for people to buy these assets. Dumb, stupid, don't do it. And sure enough, once again, we're going to say we're being proven correct. So the point here is not so much that Bitcoin's a sell, in my eyes, just more that whatever the push was off of these lows, like I said, we had pretty good looking signals. They were very well telegraphed, and I tweeted all this out as these signals came in. It was pretty well telegraphed, but I think that trade's over now. So now we just got to sort of cool our jets, and there's a simple rule we have at TRI. When you see a confirmed bear divergence and you are a bull, you have to cool your jets and just wait for this to resolve itself. And that's basically what we're doing right now. Obviously, with that kind of backdrop with the corn, obviously the junior names probably aren't going to be doing a hell of a lot. But what I did notice recently, and I've seen this over and 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 over, is a lot of the market was sort of enamored with the DeFi names there through the late, midsummer to late summer, and that's cool and all. It just definitely follow the chalk marks. The only problem is, if we look at this shit perp, and you can look at all of these, they all look basically the same. In fact, I'm not even quite sure what happened to this lend. Is Kevin, do you know? Remember I was asked in the daily brief, is Binance not trading this lend anymore? Look at that. We got Hitbit, KuCoin. I don't see where the Binance. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what happened to that. But, if we look at the DeFi index, I did notice there's a few people on the site that were kind of like, this isn't really a real look at DeFi. But I still fully expect these ABCDs to trade to, you can see lower highs and lower lows defines a bear. There's just nothing to do here. What part of the market do I like? I love these shitcoins. Shitcoins taste great. They do. Well, I've never actually tried to eat one of these things. But some of these names are just looking fantastic. And it almost feels like we're getting into one of these kind of markets where they've just thrown the baby out with the bathwater. And it's just a question of when the OGs just sort of get around to pumping the latest name du jour. I mean, I thought this was hilarious. Look at this silly black coin. I mean, this is ridiculous. So, if you are slick and can come in here, and I thought this was fascinating because I tweeted this out just maybe 2 or 3 days ago, just saying, at some point this just gets ridiculous. I've talked to you guys about, the longer the channel, the bigger the run. Well, that's one hell of a long, narrow, sideways channel in there, right? And I even tweeted out the other day that just, even if I threw a buck at this thing and it just comes back to value, I'm not looking for new highs, just to move back to value. And we were talking like 10x. It's ridiculous. Top of value there, 7,000. Even now we're sitting at 1,000. That's 7x, just back to the top of value into these wicks. Probably going to happen. Exactly when, who knows? But I thought this was hilarious. People are chasing Bitcoin for 5% returns. And look at this goddamn thing. 396 sats, and bang, that's where I put the tweet out. You better pay attention and start picking up this shit through reload zones, and kaboom! The thing went just absolutely nuts here. So you can't buy this now. But what a great analogy of the market. And nobody's interested in this shit right now. Nobody. The worst part about it is the public will be interested when it starts doing this kind of stuff. Or it starts doing this or this, right? But when it's down here, just flatlining, and everybody's like, oh, is Trex going to delist them? Who knows? Well, hey, look at that. It's jumped 10% just even as I've been talking here. Crazy market. This is the kind of thing, you can't buy this now. It's gone. But, I put this tweet out this morning. I mean, there's this one. It's just sitting there. I mean, you tell me, is this thing got any kind of room to move up here? Look at these numbers. They're insane. 20 sats and a move just to value high is more than 20x. Just to move back to where all these people are all trapped long. That's 20x. Could you possibly pick some up? Maybe sell half on a double in a year or so down the road? That's only a move back to there. It's not out of the question. Question really here is, do you have patience and discipline just to wait for it? So, like I said, this is the part of the market actually I think is the most attractive, and the irony of it all is nobody's interested in this shit at all. DeFi. I want DeFi. Give me DeFi. All right. Fine. Take all the DeFi you want. Okay, so there's your summary for the day. Bitcoin, it looks like we've hit some pretty significant resistance up top. DeFi and this sort of broader shit perps, really nothing to get too excited about. If you can, and I keep saying this over and over and over, put yourself on some sort of accumulation plan and get in and accumulate. I tell you, this is, these are just some names that I was accumulating a month or two ago. These are some names that I've been accumulating here. I'm just buying everything. Gimme. These are all the names. Can you see how much accumulating I do? I just buy everything. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that rant. Gave you some stuff to think about. Nothing really too dramatic here today. Got to get through this election, get through this silly Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunct, and let's get on to the next growth cycle and let's start making some money. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. If Kevin, you could take us out of here, I'd love you for it. Only thing left for Brian to say at this point is a big bye for now. Toodaloo.